We're waiting.
Welcome into the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. Lots of stuff to get into today. I broke down a couple of games for the weekend. We'll talk about some of those. The big high-profile SEC matchup that's going to be a I don't know what the term I can use on the radio is, but let's just say ugly game in Athens. We'll go over that in a little bit. Also, we'll look at some of the other games that are coming out this weekend. What's interesting besides that matchup in the SEC? And we're going to look at the coach's hot seat, but we're also going to look at another hot seat. There are a ton of starting quarterbacks that are going to look for a new place to go, including at least one guy that was a preseason Heisman candidate. I go to the bookcase of accountability, and leading the way at the beginning of the preseason, right after I went to ACC kickoff, was Spencer Rattler. There's reports that he, according to, if you do a search of the OU student directory, he's not in it. Well, if you're not in it, as far as being a student, I don't know how you're going to be the quarterback at Oklahoma. So he's probably heading to the transfer portal. We'll look at some of the quarterbacks that should be on the move. A couple of them may shock you a little bit. If you do a little research, some of these guys are going to go somewhere. And I tell you what, they may end up, I'm not saying everybody's looking for the next Joe Burrow. There's only one Joe Burrow. Let's make sure we put that out there. But you got to take that shot. And you know what? If you're a coach that maybe you don't have the capability to develop a quarterback, if someone else can do it for you and then you can just bring them in, you can look like a genius. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a moment. But on Wednesday or Thursday, we normally do the hot seat watch. Coach Ed Orgeron down at LSU is definitely on the hot seat watch. A couple of different folks have come out saying that his firing is inevitable. I think he'll be the only coach that loses his job in the SEC this season. But it's a question of how long before they fire him. One quote from one article says it looks like the program has 85 players going in 85 directions. We've seen that over the course of the last couple of days. In fact, they can't run the football. Now they've lost Keyshawn Boutte. It's a flat-out mess. To me, this feels like a program on the brink. It does sound like they're exploring a move. The next question is, how do they get out of that buyout, or how do they reduce that buyout? Bump, bump, bump. Another source says they're going to be smoked by Florida this weekend. They're going to get smoked by Alabama. I think the next 5 teams on their schedule are ranked. And LSU can't run the football. LSU doesn't have their two-star defensive backs. They don't have Keyshawn Boutte. It's amazing. I used this stat yesterday. They are 8-8 since they held that national championship trophy up. They are a gong show right now. They really are. They could finish last in the SEC West. They really, really could. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Then the question becomes, who is going to be the guy that's going to replace Ed Orgeron? And then the ripples will start to flow. What I mean by that, it's the old rock skipping across a pond thing. That hire is going to cause a bounce somewhere else. And who knows who's going to be in the mix? Could it be Hugh Freeze? Does he get his chance to come back to the NFL? People are writing articles about it's time for John Gruden to coach. Time for John Gruden to coach. Freeze coming back to the SEC, maybe that's a good option. Are they going to go with someone that is high profile? We shall see. If you want to talk about that, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on The Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Shout out to the folks watching today online, including Tennille, Lee, Jay, Neo. Appreciate you guys. Caden's over there as well. You can join us here on the program, 803-978-1832, as it looks like eventually, I don't know if they're going to wait till the end of the season or how that's going to go, but they can. It looks like Ed Orgeron's going to be shown the door. Some of the other names that might be on the list: Jeff Brahm at Purdue, Jeff Scott at Florida, South Florida, I'm sorry. Dino Babers at Syracuse, Manny Diaz at Miami, Butch Davis at FIU, and maybe Justin Fuente at Virginia Tech. We'll see how that works out. 803-978-1832. Let's look at some of the quarterbacks that may be finding themselves a new home. And we'll start with Graham Mertz, Wisconsin quarterback. He's had some struggles this year, completing only 55% of his passes and thrown 2 touchdowns compared to 7 interceptions. Was hurt during the Michigan loss. Maybe he's a guy that could go somewhere else and possibly move into a starting spot. We shall see. 803-978-1832. And let's go out to the phones, and we will welcome in a caller here. Welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob, this is the Biscuit. And boy, do I have a hot seat coach for you.
All right, who's that?
Mark Stoops. And let me tell you why.
I don't think Mark Stoops is going to leave his job now. Come on now.
Hear me out.
All right, fair enough.
Mark Stoops is 6-0, just like every Kentucky fan will tell you. Just 71 years ago, they started the season 6-0 also. If you put back-to-back 6-0 starts within 75 years of each other, fan expectations go through the roof. Bluegrass sports media won't cut that $50 check he sends every year.
So that's going to cause Mark Stoops.
And then you know what happens there?
Yeah.
Guess what? Kroger Field doesn't get the sushi aisle they've been looking for.
Well, I mean, I that's what I want is some sushi in the middle of Kentucky. That's what I want. Woof.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, I'll let you go and I'll let you take some callers and I'll let you guys simmer on that thought.
Fair enough. Thank you, Biscuit. 803-978-1832. Look, Mark Stoops is one of those guys that may end up coaching somewhere else. The new Kentucky fans, the ones that are just coming out now and talking about how great football is, they may be shocked to know that Bear Bryant coached there, right? There's that. Maybe that's what is it? Every 60 years they have a great coach. Maybe Stoops is that coach. I don't know. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown, right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400, of course, around the world in the iHeartRadio app. Some other quarterbacks that are in the mix to possibly transfer, as Vols Online says, Mark Stoops to LSU. I mean, that would be a big name for them, but I don't know if that's the route that they want to go. I think they want to have they want to get away from the defensive-minded coach. They want a coach that is going to come in and try to put in a new offense and have the ability to throw the ball all over the field. That's what they want now. That's kind of what sells everything. We'll see. I think Hugh Freeze would be the way to go. Jimmy Online says Biscuit needs to get back on his meds. Now, we don't knock people that need meds. It's not like, some of us, like the host of this show, doesn't take his meds. If I don't take my meds, I'm a disaster. The days that I don't take my my ADD meds, I am literally a complete buffoon. I can't string together words at all. It's pretty sad. Pretty sad. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Who do you think is going to replace Ed Orgeron at LSU? Because I think he's going to be leaving. Think it's going to be soon. Some of the other quarterbacks that may hit the transfer portal, we mentioned Spencer Rattler earlier. That may be some where he may go, is possibly home to Arizona. Maybe Arizona, maybe Arizona State. We'll see. Then you've got what's going on at Michigan. Cade McNamara has looked like he's been okay at times, but five-star freshman J.J. McCarthy is getting it done too. McNamara's completed 60% of his passes, but it looks like they may want to do something with McCarthy. One of those guys is going to go somewhere. What about Ohio State? They've got Quinn Ewers, Kyle McCord, sophomore Jack Miller. They got a ton of five-star quarterbacks. One of them may end up going somewhere. Carolina Jackpot Online says Spencer Rattler to South Carolina. You know, he was trying to explain that to me last night. Beamer didn't recruit him, but he was on the staff when Rattler was there. I don't know what kind of relationship they had, but that could be interesting. We'll see how that works out. Ohio State may lose one of their quarterbacks. Out at Southern Cal, someone's going to be left out of the mix there, as they've got Miller Moss, big four-star prospect. His classmate Jackson Dart, they think is the QB of the future. And we'll see how things work out there. At Texas, they've got a ton of quarterbacks. Houston Card began the year as the starter, lost his job after they lost at Arkansas. Casey Thompson has been great since. Where's Houston Card going to go? And then we have Harrison Bailey, the second-year player from Tennessee. He could enter the portal as well. The young man came out of Georgia, and people thought he was going to be the guy. Played in 6 games as a true freshman, threw 4 touchdowns and 2 picks. Fell down the depth chart this year, and now Hendon Hooker's going to definitely take that spot. Does he really want to sit there and wait? I think Hooker's got this year, but in theory, he was probably behind. Well, I mean, he was behind, Milton, and then Hooker, and then he was basically third string. We'll see how that works out with Harrison Bailey. And, of course, Spencer Rattler. Will he end up at Arizona State or Arizona? But you know what? You also have to think about this. And Clemson fans may not want to hear me say this, but the more and more I think about it, Uiagalelei, the prize Clemson quarterback that came in and had, basically 2 great starts last year and has looked like not up to form this year. If Clemson stumbles down the stretch, and in their final, what do they got, 7 games? They're 3-2 right now. So, yeah, they got 7 games left. If he stumbles down the stretch, and let's say Clemson wins 4 out of those 7, and they finish 7-5, something like that. There's been a lot of knocks on him because some folks say he's got a long release. And there are some scouts that say he lacks the ability to process from the pocket. That is interesting, but he's also got a heck of an arm. So wouldn't it be interesting if Uiagalelei decided, you know what? I got to go somewhere else because I've got to have a great season. Maybe the system doesn't work for him. And maybe he wants to have an opportunity to go somewhere else and get that 1 year in to have a chance to cash in at the NFL level. We'll see on that. Some of the comments online, Billy says, guarantee you Arch Manning will not go to UGA under that QB. Okay. We'll see how that works out. Caden says Miami can't recruit or get decent transfers. B Red says Uiagalelei will average 3 touchdowns a game the second half of the season. Yeah, I could see that. Carolina Jackpot says scouts were all over him last year. Kid is getting poor coaching. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call. Larry says Spencer Rattler can't excel with OU's teammates and schemes. I don't see him making it here. Plus, he's a cancer. Ever seen QB1 on Netflix? You know what? You are the fifth person to tell me that I should be watching QB1 on Netflix and how his teammates hated him. I think you can get by. I mean, you have to be a good teammate. I get that. But if you're a monumental talent, you could probably get by because winning is a huge deodorant. You can be gong show bad, but as far as being a person, but I think that if your talent level is so high, you can definitely move your way around and win some games, and that's going to help a lot. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Vol says, how is Tennessee playing this good with half of their players last year transferring out? I don't know. You could make an argument that Tennessee's schedule has not been very good. I mean, their last 3 wins over a Missouri team that's really bad, a South Carolina team that's still developing, and Tennessee Tech. They're probably right where they said they would be. You know? We'll see on Tennessee. The jury's still kind of out on them. They could have a monumental season where they go 8-4. Or they could go 6-6. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Biscuit says Heupel is doing a good job. Yeah, he's doing a good job. Jumped in there and won games that he's supposed to. It's kind of the same way with South Carolina. South Carolina won games that they were supposed to. I firmly believe that if Will Muschamp were coaching that team up at ECU, they would have lost that game. I believe that. Might have lost the Troy game too. And you're sitting at 1-5. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That's the number to call. If you'd like to join us here on the Rundown this afternoon on Fox Sports Radio 1400, got some games we're going to look at here, including some in-depth stuff on Kentucky and Georgia. Why it's a brutal matchup for Kentucky. Just some of the things that just stick out. Some of the comments online, who has Kentucky played seriously? Realistically, I mean, LSU's probably firing their coach. Who else have they beaten, to be honest? Florida. I mean, is Florida really what you consider a great team this year? Probably not. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you want to join us here on the Rundown this afternoon on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Of course, around the world in the iHeartRadio app. If you have a comment about some of the transfer quarterbacks, we'll take that as well. We'll start looking at some games for this week when we come back right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Yeah, Kentucky played the snake. Normally, I don't agree with anything SEC Dog says, but that's pretty valid. That's a great question. What do they do with A&M if they make it to Atlanta and beat Georgia? You know, they'd have a realistic argument about being the first 2-loss team in history to make the playoff. Kobe, I don't know. As far as Dabo Sweeney, I mean, they need to get with it up there. I know that they have a coach that monitors that kind of stuff, but there's going to be some talent in that portal, man. I mean, you're a 4-point favorite there, Vols. I mean, I don't think you're over the rainbow great if you beat Ole Miss. Well, Tennille, you're better than I am because I picked Mizzou to finish second. I am a dumbass. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us today. And of course, you can also join the program 803-978-1832. Phone lines are open and we've got some callers. Let's head out there. Welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
How's it going, Rob? Bluegrass Sports Media.
Hey, man, what you got?
How can you say Kentucky hasn't beat anybody? We have a top 10 win.
A top 10 win. Okay. Your top 10 win is Florida, right?
Yes.
Do you really believe in your heart at the end of the season, Florida is going to finish in the top 10? See, that's the problem. You have all these folks that have this mentality of, well, we have a top 10 win. It's not a top 10 win until they finish in the top 10 at the end of the season. Just because they're ranked in the top.
Georgia against
No.
Wasn't a top
Just
10
because
win.
they're in the top 10 at the time you beat them doesn't mean they're a top 10 team. That is absolutely silly, sir. Come on now. You have to come to the program with something better than that.
Just because Kentucky beat someone doesn't mean someone's awful.
I never said that. I'm saying that Florida is probably not a top 10 team. It has nothing to do with Kentucky. It has to do with the fact that they're just they're probably not going to finish as a top 10 team until the end of the year. The rankings don't mean anything right now. To tout that as a top 10 win is not really fair.
And then you say we haven't played anybody. We've beat everyone that's in front of us. We beat a ranked Florida team at the time.
Okay. Rankings mean nothing, but keep going.
Completely destroyed LSU. And you can say LSU's bad all you want, but they recruit
LSU is 8-8. They are 8-8 since they won the national title, but they're going to fire their coach. But continue.
They recruit some of the best talent. If you look at the talent index, they're
awesome.
more talented than we are.
That's awesome, but a lot of their talent is injured. Their 2 All-American defensive backs gone. They're not the 2019 LSU. Look, I'm not taking anything away from Kentucky. You have some impressive wins. You've won what's in front of you. You can't determine who's going to be injured and everything else. You can't do that. But the reality is that when I've watched Kentucky, your offense looks like it's in the Stone Ages. It's not like you have a modern day offense. Yeah, you play good defense and you win games that are ugly. But when it comes down to it, you're matching up with the Georgia Juggernauts this week. And trying to win ugly against them isn't going to work. You just can't do it.
Listen, Rob, we have nothing to lose.
Of course not. You've never been there before. You have nothing to lose. You're exactly right. You're playing with house money. If you go in there and you lose by 42 and then you finish the season 11-1, it's the best season in Kentucky history. Congratulations. We'll get you a trophy. You can hang it up there at Kroger Field next to the sushi stand. But the reality is that you've never been there before. So, yeah, you're playing with house money. You're exactly right. Completely agree with you on that.
And here's the thing. All these Georgia fans talking. I will be here Sunday. And if Rob and them, if Rob and Jackpot won, I'll be on their show Sunday.
Sure, buddy.
Because here's the thing. I'm going to show up either way.
Mm-hmm.
But if Georgia loses to a basketball school, all those guys are gone. There's no one. Megan's not showing up.
Yeah.
The Biscuit, none of those guys are showing up. If you lose to a basketball school,
well, I appreciate the fact that you know what you are. You know that you're a basketball school. Maybe you're just a little bit out of your depth here. Maybe just a little bit.
No, we're not out of our depth.
Well, you just said you're a basketball school, sir. Are you a basketball school or a football school? Okay. Well, then
we're both.
No, you're
not.
We're
a basketball school. We're a basketball school with a great football program right now.
No, you're not. But
we're a basketball school with a great football program.
You're a basketball school. No, sir. You are a basketball school that has a football team that's playing pretty well right now. You're not exactly the most valid program on the planet, sir.
Listen, there are about 8 to 10 teams in the SEC that wish they had Kentucky's football program right now.
I appreciate you calling the program, sir, but I can only take so much. Anything else before you get out of here?
Well, no, I can name them for you.
No, I don't need you to do all that for me. I really don't. Kentucky doesn't exactly have the what is it? They're not like a spotlight program. I don't think teams aspire, hey, I want to be like Kentucky. I want to be a 24-point underdog when I'm 6-0. That's what I want to be. No team aspires to be that, sir.
How many teams do you think would trade places with us right now to be 6-0 in the SEC?
And be a 24-point underdog? I don't think anybody wants to be a 24-point underdog to anything.
Well, the thing is, we're 24-point underdog, but you still have to go play the game.
And that's fine. I completely agree with you on that. But the reality is that you're out of your depth. Okay? It's all going to come crashing down. And if it doesn't, I'll be happy to moonwalk my way out of that on Monday morning or Monday afternoon when I do the show here. But if you just look at the matchup and what Kentucky is, they don't match up well with Georgia. I'm sorry.
I don't agree with that, but, I mean, we'll see Saturday.
Well, I appreciate you calling the program, sir. You have a great day with your basketball program. Thank you for calling the show. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. It's I don't mean to be short with him. I appreciate the fact that he's a fan of his team, but it's helpful to be what you are. And he even said it himself. Georgia fans will be upset if they lose to a basketball school. Yes, you are a basketball school. You should be talking to me about that number 1 recruit that's going to enroll early. That's who you should be talking to me about. I mean, I'm more likely to believe anything you throw at me in that area. How much money did John Calipari give the bag man to make sure you had the top 5 recruiting class? That's important. Anyway, we'll take your calls at 803-978-1832. And I've got some numbers here, some different things we can tell you about the matchup with Kentucky and Georgia and how it just doesn't work. They're running into a buzzsaw. 803-978-1832. And by the way, calling out Georgia fans, that's silly. Seriously. I give Georgia fans a lot of grief, but they generally don't go anywhere. They've sat through, the 40-year drought of winning national titles, even though they've had teams that have had the potential to be national champions. They still show up. I think that you're the 4th Kentucky person that's called my show in 3 years. Just saying. Hundreds of Georgia callers, 4 Kentucky fans during football season. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Tom wants me to talk about how overhyped North Carolina and Sam Howell was. I mean, I'd love to talk about that, but the reality is that that's exactly what it was, hype. You know, their head coach went from looking like he had found the fountain of youth to now looking like he's trying to just hold upright to head to the rest home. Mac Brown's a heck of a coach. He's had his time in the sun. If you watch him on the sidelines right now, he just doesn't look like he's with it. Tennille says, I think she's talking about Georgia. I've walked through a lot of darkness. We're enjoying the light. Let's slow down a little bit now. Got to finish the season. True Georgia fans know that. being 6-0 is not that far-fetched. Being 12-0 is hard. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you want to join us here on the Rundown this afternoon on Fox Sports Radio 1400, of course, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. More of the program when we come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. I don't mean to light you up there, Bluegrass Sports Media, but you're killing me, man. Caden is right. We have not heard from Clemson Tiger fan. That's funny. There's the number. Right there in front of you there, Billy. 803-978-1832.
Sports Radio 1400, serving Columbia at 1400 and the world on the iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Buckeye John joins us. What's going on, friend?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Good, man. What you got for the show?
Yeah, I was responding to the last caller. I kind of compare Kentucky football to Northwestern football. I mean, you know, I don't think there'll ever be a football school just like Duke won't, Kansas won't, UCLA won't. They do have a good coach though, but I can't see them ever being, you know, a top level SEC team for a period of years.
I think that's fair. I think yeah. This is like the high point of Kentucky football, by the way, at least in the modern era.
Correct. I mean, I can never see that changing, but you know, I could be wrong. But just wanted to throw my 2 cents in.
Appreciate it, brother. Have a great day.
Yeah. You too, man.
One more caller here. Let's go out to Billy's joining us. What's up, man?
Hey, Rob, how you doing?
Good, buddy. What you got for the show?
You know, I keep hearing this Kentucky fan. 6-0 is a good number for Kentucky, no doubt. But let's run this down. Is Missouri a good team or a bad team?
Missouri is a gong show.
They beat them by 7.
Yeah.
Now, Chattanooga Community College, are they a good team or a bad team?
Well, we're not going to disrespect the SoCon here, sir. We do live in the South, but UT Chattanooga is a viable program on that level. But when you're an SEC team, they struggle.
Kentucky beat them by 5. Thank God the clock ran out.
Yeah, they struggled. You're right.
And South Carolina, are they a good team or a bad team?
They're not a very good team right now.
And they beat them by 6.
Yep.
Stop it. Stop it.
I'm with you.
6-0 is fine. But if we was in the BCS, and you know this, and strength of schedule was taken in consideration like it's not anymore, where would Kentucky be?
Not where they are right now.
No, sir. And one more question for Calipari in that basketball school in Kentucky.
Yeah.
What school has he ever left that wasn't on NCAA probation or in trouble?
You've spit out so many
Name me
facts,
one.
sir. I mean, I can't. I mean, you're asking me questions
Name
that
me one.
I don't have an answer to.
There is none. Name me a school that Calipari left that was not on NCAA probation.
I'm completely
Hey, have a good
with
show.
You. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. He spit out a lot of facts there about Kentucky, their basketball program. I don't care what anybody says. I think that they are the bag man is there. I mean, seriously, we've seen the reports that with the committee to try to clean up college basketball, and they talk about different things are here and there and everywhere else. It's not like college basketball is the most clean game ever. You know, and it's so funny because people like expect you to just be like, oh, well, none of this happens. Of course it happens. Of course it happens. I mean, seriously, let's slow down a little bit. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Bluegrass Sports Media says we will never get caught cheating. Yes, that's because John Calipari's good at it. He's done it at several spots. Kentucky's been on probation before for basketball. So let's just stop with that. 803-978-1832. It's not a Rip Kentucky day, by the way. We don't come to the program every day thinking how we can mock the Kentucky Wildcats. It's not what we're doing here. Just Kentucky caller says some stuff, and we have to address it. All right, here's some of the things that make it interesting as far as, or things about the Georgia-Kentucky game that are interesting. For Kentucky to win, they're going to have to, in my opinion, they're going to have a performance like they did against LSU over the weekend. They ran for 330 yards against LSU. No one's run for 330 yards against Georgia yet. It's not happening. Kentucky is 23rd in the nation in rushing yards per game at 214 yards. 13th in the country in yards per carry, about 5.5. But that Georgia defense is really good. And I think that they're going to have the typical Georgia-type day. Kentucky's offense hasn't shown me anything where I look at it and I say, you know what? Maybe this is something that can cause Georgia some problems. Maybe. I hate to use the Clemson game as an example, but if you look at the Clemson game as far as on paper, Clemson offense is light years better than what Kentucky's going to roll out there on Saturday, and Clemson couldn't get it done against them either. South Carolina had the SEC's leading rusher from last season. He didn't do much against that Georgia defense this year. These are things that you have to look at. And I know they're 6-0. I get it. But they're going up against that Georgia defense that is just really good. To give you another number that's a perspective here for you. On the season, Kentucky's played 6 games. They've got 23 quarterback hurries on the year. That sounds pretty good, right? Getting to the quarterback maybe 4 or 5 times a game on a hurry. Georgia has 109. You're on different planets. 109 to 23 as far as quarterback hurries go. What else do I need to throw at you? Levis is going to have problems on Saturday. And it's not just Levis. Everyone's going to have problems. They match up in the SEC championship game with Alabama. Whoever Alabama rolls out there at quarterback is going to have problems. For Kentucky to win, it's going to come on the ground. They're going to have to keep the Georgia offense honest by completing some passes so they can run. But for them to win, Georgia's going to have to turn the ball over, I think, 3 times. and they're going to have to run for 300 yards. That's the my stat that will determine that game. For Kentucky to win, they need to be +3 in the turnover margin and have 300 yards on the ground. If that happens, they may only lose by 10. Seriously. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Something else you got to look at for this game too, though. Stetson Bennett has been a world beater this year. There have been people that called Stetson Bennett a midget, a 4'0", a dwarf. We've heard those calls on the program. We won't enlighten you as to who they are, but you know who they are. Will he go back to the bench if JT Daniels returns? Let's go out to the phones. And welcome to the Rundown. Good afternoon.
What's going on, Rob?
Hey, what's up?
Am I on air or?
Yeah, man. How about it? You're on the air. How about it?
Okay. I got one quick question. Who's better, Arkansas or Kentucky at football?
That's a fair question. I don't really know. Arkansas's got 2 losses to 2 pretty good teams, so
I don't think it. Come on, man. Everybody knows Arkansas is better than Kentucky at football, and you know what happened against Georgia. So
yeah. I
think the game's going to be similar to that game, but I think it's going to be worse. My prediction is Georgia 54, Kentucky 10. Have a good one, Rob.
Appreciate it, man. One more call. Welcome into the Rundown. Oh, a little call back. 803-978-1832. But anyway, what's going to happen with Georgia on the quarterback front? Now, here's something else, too, to look ahead. After this matchup, Georgia gets a bye week, and then they've got to play the Florida Gators. Now, I don't know how good Florida is, but if I am running that program as far as the quarterback coach, I'm going to want JT Daniels, if he can play on Saturday, to get some snaps. Otherwise, he's going to be rusty, in my opinion, when they have to go to Jacksonville. Just saying. But you know what? It's also going to be hard to look at Stetson Bennett and tell him, well, you know, you were 4th string and you made your way to the top here. You led us to being 6-0. Kind of hard to tell him, yeah, you got to go to the bench. These are problems that Georgia has, especially on the quarterback front. There are probably teams that wouldn't mind having those 2 5-star guys that are sitting on the bench behind the quote midget, quote dwarf. That's what some of the Georgia fans call Stetson Bennett. Quick break, and we come back. We'll have more for you here on the Rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. I don't know if Georgia will hang 50 on them, but I could see 34-3. I could see, 34, 37-3, 37-6. I tell you what, if I'm the Georgia defensive coordinator and they score a touchdown, what I mean by that is if they score a touchdown on, a short field or whatever, you have to deal with that. But if you kick off to them and they drive the field and score a touchdown, I'm making that defense run, because that Kentucky offense is terrible. How sharp is Daniels going to be there, B-Red? I don't know. If I'm the defensive coordinator, I'm wearing that as a badge of honor. I'm serious. Is he really 5'11"? I think he's 5'9". Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world in the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Appreciate you joining the program today. We looked at some of the stuff with Kentucky and Georgia. As I'll have my pick for that tomorrow. Kind of giving it away, but picks against the spread tomorrow, as on Lockdown Friday. Give you the picks against the spread here on the Rundown. Some weeks I do really well. I've been like hot and frozen. I think I went 8-2 one week, and then 3-7 the next, and then 7-3, and it's been up and down. Let's just say that. I think I'm like 8 games over 500 on the year, but normally I'd like to be a little bit better than that. Anyway, some of the other interesting games coming up this weekend. You know, we've talked a lot about Kentucky and Georgia, a 1-11 matchup, but at noon, high noon, Central Florida and number 3 Cincinnati. Luke Fickell is going to welcome in Gus Malzahn. This game is always a very interesting game in that conference. And I think it'll be, I don't know how close it's going to be. They've got Central Florida's 3-2. They lost to Louisville and Navy. And they're not like they're the normal, typical Central Florida team. You know, the one that lies about national championships. It's not like that. But Gus Malzahn seems to have them playing some pretty decent football. That should be an interesting matchup at high noon on Saturday. Another game to be watching at noon is Michigan State and Indiana. Everyone doubted Michigan State, including me. I've said this for the longest time. If you are one of those people that said at the beginning of the season that Michigan State was going to be 6-0 to start the season, raise your hand and then take your other hand and slap it for lying, because no one thought that was going to happen. Michigan State will play at Indiana at noon. Indiana is a 3-point underdog at home. Now, you can look at it from this perspective. Kenneth Walker III, a transfer, leads the nation from Wake Forest, leads the nation in 913 yards a game. He could be a factor there. Playing at Indiana, that might be tough. So that'll be an interesting matchup on Saturday at noon. A couple of noon games to get you moving there. Also at noon, Oklahoma State's at number 25, Texas. Man, Texas has to be shooting themselves in the foot. They had Oklahoma. I mean, it was right there. Right there. They were up, 28-7. Kind of turned away from the game. I'm like, Texas is going to hammer them. Sarkisian's over there on the sideline looking like he's about 7 foot tall. Lincoln Riley over there looks like he never skipped a beat. His team comes back and gets the win. Now Oklahoma State comes in. They're 5-0. That's what you get now. After you play Oklahoma, you get Oklahoma State, who is highly ranked as well. Very interesting matchup at noon on Friday. After the phones. Welcome into the program. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon.
How are you, sir?
Fine. I heard Megan yesterday, like he want to put a face on Hollywood. Well, you'll get a chance to put a face. We'll get together. We'll set something up. where we can meet.
That's what I said. I said you'd probably invite him to your tailgate, share a bottle of whiskey with him.
Oh, yeah,
right?
no doubt about it. No doubt about
No shame
it.
in that.
And get him a dog bone.
A dog bone. That's funny.
No doubt.
I don't know if I want to be in Jacksonville eating dog bones.
Hey, listen. I no doubt I think Georgia will beat Kentucky, but they will not cover the spread.
So you like Kentucky plus 24.5. Okay.
No doubt.
Sure.
I don't think they'll cover it.
Okay. Well, we'll find out. Your team's got to go down to LSU and play, and LSU is not very good right now.
No, I expect for us to blow them out.
Yeah.
I expect for them to tell him not even come back to the locker room, drop the keys on the field.
Yeah, if you take off that LSU shirt, we'll give you a tank top and you get the hell out of here.
No doubt about it. He can go fishing.
He can go fishing. They'll pay him enough money to. You're right about that.
Oh, yeah. He got a big buyout, though.
He does, but I think they'll pay it.
Oh, yeah.
I think they'll pay it. All right, man.
They'll get another coach, and they'll be running him off in 2 years, too.
Well, they did win a national title with Ed Orgeron. I'm just saying.
I heard you say something early.
What I say?
I like Oklahoma quarterback coming to South Carolina.
You think
it's
so?
Possible.
Well, I mean, he did play with Shane Beamer on the staff. I don't know how close they were, but I don't know if it's going to work out for him at Oklahoma. We'll see.
I don't think so. I think that's a done deal.
Well, he'll end up going somewhere.
No doubt.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All
right. Hollywood joining the program says he would give Beggin' Megan a dog bone down in Jacksonville. Imagine that. Man, that's where I want to be. I want to be in Jacksonville eating dog bones and drinking whiskey with Hollywood. Yeah, not so much. I'll drink whiskey with you, but I don't know if I'm going to eat dog bones in Jacksonville. To hell with all that. That's not happening. I don't think I'm buying that at all. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. I'm not eating dog bones in Jacksonville. Jacksonville's like, I don't know if I want to be hanging out down in Jacksonville. No offense to the folks listening in Jacksonville. I'm sure that you love your town. I'm a weirdo, man. I like to travel, but I don't like to travel. I want to go places, but then I don't want to pack. What a mess I am. Blake says Rattler to Kentucky, maybe. Jimmy says milk bones are high in protein. Okay. Fine. If you really want to get into that. Luke Fickle going down to LSU. We'll see about that. Thanks, Randall. One more call before we get out of here. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
I can't think of a more appropriate name for that man because he lives, Hollywood lives in the world of make-believe, obviously.
He offered you a dog bone and some whiskey, sir, in Jacksonville. Are you going to take him up on it?
I'm going to pass on both of them. He'll be toting an L so heavy he won't know what to do. He won't be worried about
some
dogs.
whiskey, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, I must say though that is a tempting offer.
For what? The whiskey or the dog bone?
Well, depending on how well the game goes, could be both.
Would you eat a dog biscuit if Georgia won?
I'll eat a box of dog biscuits if that's what it took.
I don't want to win that bad. Oh my goodness. All right, man. I got about 45 seconds. What you got for the program?
Hey, actually, something just came up, buddy. I got to run. I'm at work.
All right,
sorry.
Fair enough. That's fine. One more call. Here we go. And welcome in. Oh, they left. All right. Well, look at that. My phone just went out on me. Megan says he'd eat a box of dog biscuits to get the win. Man, that's tough. I don't know if I'm eating a box of dog biscuits. I don't know if I'm tailgating in Jacksonville either. Biscuit says we should get L dog bones and hand them out. That's funny. All right, let's see if I can get this one caller in really quick here. Welcome into the rundown. You got 30 seconds. Go.
Hey, well, it's me, Justin. How you doing?
Hey, man, I got 30 seconds, man. What you got?
Okay. Hey, well, I got two coaches who might be going this season, Coastal and Manny Diaz.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. You have a great day, all right?
You're welcome.
All right, there you go. All right, we appreciate everybody calling the program today. Beggin' Megan is on record. He would eat a box of dog biscuits to get that win over Florida. I'm going to hold him to that. What other nonsense will we get into tomorrow here on the rundown? This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. I appreciate y'all, man. You guys are awesome. Thank you for showing up, talking a little sports with me today. Y'all, Beggin' Megan said he'd eat a box of dog biscuits. I've got it on tape. Appreciate y'all, man. We'll see you later.